Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here, and this is honestly one I'm not surprised by at all. We have an exclusive here from Daily Caller. Second Hassan staffer allegedly helped aide steal massive amounts of Senate data. A second former aide to Senator Maggie Hassan is implicated in former IT staffer Jackson Costco's massive data theft scheme that was ultimately used to intimidate Republican senators by doxing them during a confirmation hearing for Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, prosecutors said. Samantha G. DeForest Davis, at the time a staff assistant to Hassan, was the aide who allegedly helped Costco conduct his scheme, a source with knowledge of the situation told Daily Caller News Foundation. Court records show a case naming her has been opened, and the source confirmed it relates to her alleged role in the data theft. She filed an affidavit that can be used to assess her eligibility for public defender, but she has not been charged with any crimes, courts show. Costco pled guilty on April 5th to masterminding what prosecutors said was an extraordinarily extensive data theft scheme, copying entire network drives, sorting and organizing sensitive data, and exploring ways to use that data to his benefit. He admitted to stealing tens of thousands of documents and emails from Hassan's office, in addition to credit card information and social security numbers belonging to Senate employees. The data also included a master list of senators' private information that Costco posted to Wikipedia out of anger at Republicans during Supreme Court nomination hearings, prosecutors said. Costco's lawyers said drugs contributed to his admitted crimes, but a statement of facts prosecutors filed as part of Costco's plea agreement describes an elaborate months-long scheme involving two people. The data was stolen from Hassan's office in months of late-night burglaries between July and October of 2018, after Costco was fired that May for different misconduct that Hassan, a New Hampshire Democrat, has declined to explain, according to the statement. DeForest Davis, identified in court documents only as Subject A, allegedly repeatedly provided Costco a key that he used to enter the office at night and install tiny devices that capture every keystroke, including passwords that were then used to access further materials, according to the statement. After Costco was caught in the act by a Hassan staffer in October 2018, the accomplice went to the office and wiped down the keyboards and mice to erase fingerprints. On January 24th, prosecutors said the defendant is cooperating, though they noted the government isn't convinced that he is fully cooperative. 6 days earlier, a case called USA v. DeForest Davis was opened in D.C. federal court, and Costco was released on bail the next month. DeForest Davis has not been charged with any crimes, but the court record shows she filed a CJA 23 financial affidavit. Court records in an unrelated case show that a CJA 23 financial affidavit can serve two purposes: to establish whether someone is facing or expecting to face charges qualifies for a public defender, and, since it is an outline of one's finances submitted under penalty of perjury, to prosecute the person for lying in order to hide money he or she had received. I do apologize for the sniffling. It is April in Texas. DeForest Davis did not respond to a request for comment. DeForest Davis was on Hassan's payroll with a $43,000 salary at the time the incidents occurred, but is not any longer, Senate documents show. She began working for Hassan in August 2017 after graduating Augustana College in Illinois and serving a short stint as a fellow at the League of United Latin American Citizens, LULAC, according to her LinkedIn profile. In 2015, she wrote on LULAC's website, identifying as half African American and half Caucasian woman, many people questioned why I wanted to intern at LULAC for the summer. They thought I would be spending time within my own demographic, serving my own people, and representing my own culture. Her Instagram says she was raised in Wisconsin. Hassan is a member of the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs. Costco is the Bernie Sanders supporting son of a millionaire with close ties to California politicians, the DCNF previously reported. His father is the past head of the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce and is CEO of a company that constructed a building named after the husband of Democratic California Senator Dianne Feinstein. The California Senator is the top Democrat of the Judiciary Committee, which held the hearings regarding Kavanaugh's nomination. Costco once interned in Feinstein's office. Prosecutors said in earlier court findings that Costco expressed intention to commit more similar crimes while charges were pending. But in December 2018, his lawyer argued strenuously to get the slight frame 27-year-old out of general population jail in D.C. I'm going to stop here and just let you read what the rest is if you want to. This is honestly something that should be more worrying than it apparently is. This is really, the Daily Caller is the only place I've heard pretty much anything about this. Granted, I don't watch much Fox News. I don't watch any of the other channels. I tend to watch Judge Jeanine, Tucker, and Hannity when I have time, but that's not been much lately. So I get a lot of my news from AP News tickers and from online other sources, and only the Daily Caller has actually brought up Costco and DeForest Davis and Senator Hassan. This is a man who had access to sensitive documents, legally or not, on all of the Senate, and released information about Republican senators because they were not obeying the minority party in the Senate and just trashing a man who there was no evidence that anything had happened. We saw for the entirety of the confirmation hearing the Believe Women campaign, although now that the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia has been accused by more than one woman, if I remember right, Believe Women is gone because, of course, he's a Democrat and Kavanaugh is a nominee from Donald Trump. We've seen just ample evidence that there is no real desire to believe women or not. We saw Senator Chuck Schumer say that the onus of proof rests on the defendant, not the plaintiff, to use legal terms. In this case, the defendant would have been Kavanaugh, accused of doing something somewhere, some 30 years ago, where somebody saw it. I don't know about you, but I can't prove that I went to class on a specific date for my senior high school year because it's only 20 years ago. And I can tell you exactly where that was. It's in the same place the high school sits today. But without literally going to old report cards and finding out if I had any absences and then digging through documents in the school district's database, there's no way to prove whether or not I was in a specific location on a specific date, let alone what I did or did not do. Yet Blasey Ford's accusations that something happened somewhere in, I believe it was Delaware, may have been Maryland, I don't remember, but something happened somewhere in Kavanaugh's home state at some point on a given date 30-odd years ago, and someone was there. And I say something happened because what happened changed from point to point in that hearing. I personally wanted Brett Kavanaugh to stand up, say into the microphone, I, Brett Kavanaugh, withdraw my name from consideration for the Supreme Court. I will now be contacting my lawyer to pursue slander and libel charges against everyone in this room who has demanded that I be persecuted for something that cannot be proven, and then walk out smiling as we hear Democrats call for a vote. If he doesn't make it out the door before they call a vote, he turns around and says, "No, I'm sorry, senators. I withdrew my name. I am pursuing charges. This will go to criminal court," and walk out. Because only by doing that would we actually get the Democrats to obey the rule of law and say, well, nothing can be proven, so we're dropping everything, we will vote. Then the next day we would have had Feinstein, Schumer, Harris, Booker, Sanders, all over CNN and MSNBC and the rest, demanding that Brett Kavanaugh return to the Senate to be present for the vote on his nomination, that they refuse to let him withdraw, that they refuse to let him press charges, because he is now a Supreme Court justice. Only by making them a target of a criminal investigation will they ever stop. And I really wanted Brett Kavanaugh, as much as I know he is going to do good things on the Supreme Court, I wanted him to say into the microphone, if I walk out this door, I file charges against everyone involved. Either there is no evidence, which there is not, and we move forward, or I withdraw my name and contact my attorneys. The choice is yours. And then he starts walking out. Because at that point, he would not have withdrawn his name, and they would say, we need to find the end of this. And he says, I, Brett Kavanaugh, withdraw my name for consideration for Supreme Court justice. I will be going to my lawyers now. and walk out ignoring their cries of anguish and despair that they now cannot sweep this under the rug. Costco will not do much prison time. Someone in the DNC will either magically get the charges dropped or he will commit suicide in his cell. Because he is proof that the Democrats don't care about rule of law. He is proof that they don't care until confronted in public light with the crimes of those they hire. Feinstein would never have said a word had someone not pointed out her former driver had supposed ties to Chinese intelligence. He might have still been driving for her today if no one had found out. Costco was found out. Hassan tried to sweep it under the rug, and now we have DeForest Davis. This is going to go on and on and on until someone very high up on the food chain in the Democratic Party goes to prison for a long time for enabling criminal activity. But I've talked on this one long enough. Let me know what you think. I will post the link to this in the description so you can read the entire thing. Just to give you an idea of where I stopped, it stops at this subject header, a months-long heist. Like I said, I'm not going to continue reading the entirety of it on the video just because it is extremely long. But I do want to know what you think about this. What would have happened if Costco had been working for a Republican senator? How swift would the cries from the Democratic side of the Senate be for that senator to be removed from office and charged as an accomplice? Yet Hassan has not had anything said crossed to her. DeForest Davis and Costco will fade into ignominy as Hassan continues her work with the Democratic Party. As always, keep the comments classy and civil. We only learn from debate, not argument. And also, please like the video and consider subscribing and activating notifications. Until the next time, though, everyone have a wonderful day.